Ice, ice, maybe? Find out if you're Wim Hof ready. The Wim Hof method is an extraordinary way to train your body and mind. And Simon Gowen is one of the few certified corporate instructors in the world. In this video, he takes you through a basic breath and ice bath session so you can see if you're ready to start training the Wim Hof method. Welcome to the Wellness Driven Life Show. I'm so pleased that you're here with us today. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get future notifications. That's on the YouTube channel. And you're about to go on a wellness driven ride. Hello. I'm so excited to introduce our guest for today. Simon Gowen is on a mission to create ultimate health and well-being in people. He believes that this is the best accomplished by training the nervous, cardiovascular, and immune systems. Simon has taught these methods worldwide and has provided individuals and companies with teaching and training that directly improves health, happiness, and performance. Simon is a Wim Hof certified trainer and breath and ice bath coach. He has over 30 years of experience as a personal trainer, athlete, and coach with a love of nature. Currently, he teaches how to find and maximize health, happiness, and performance in people from all walks of life. Please help me welcome our guest today, Simon.
Hi, April.
Hi, Simon. Welcome to the Wellness Driven Life Show. It's a pleasure and honor to have you here today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Feel truly honored. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So, Simon, please share with us, with the audience today, who you are, a little bit about your background. Let us get a good picture of you.
Well, I think we should start maybe with my journey into the ice. So, about a year and a half ago, my wife was due to be having a surgery on her hip. And we'd had this ongoing conversation for, I don't know, maybe 6 months prior to that about getting a hot tub. And we'd ultimately decided not to do it. And so the surgery came up and I said, honey, maybe let's look at this jacuzzi again, because it'd be really good for you and in your recovery. And then also, why don't we get an ice bath? Through my athlete career, I'd used ice before, thought it'd be good. I also wanted a sauna, and I said, well, maybe an outside shower too. So we revisited the jacuzzi and ended up starting this project that that led me to build what I'm doing now, I guess, and this incredible journey with Wim Hof and all this wonderful community that I found. And so after her surgery, we'd been traveling in England over the Christmas period, and we came back, and she was being cleared to then go in water. And she goes to me, well, Simon, are you going to use this ice bath that you bought? And I'm like, well, I don't know, I don't really know what to do. So I ended up going on YouTube, looking at a few videos, and then I jumped into the ice bath, and I had this like really incredible experience. And it was, first thing that happened is I actually thought I was gonna die. I was like in complete shock. I was like gasping. You can see me there, April. So I'm there. I'm just literally like gasping like this, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
But your body's going into shock a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't have the benefit of anybody coaching me or telling me what to expect. So you can imagine, yourself that you were there with me, and I'm like just sort of freaking out. But I've made this commitment to myself, April, that what I was going to do is I was going to stay in for 5 minutes, and whatever happened, I was going to do it. And I guess after I was able to relax, I had this incredible experience that saw me on top of a mountain, this local mountain called Mount Baldy in California. And it's 10,500 feet. And it has this one little area called the Devil's Backbone. And it's this section that's famous for providing vertigo and fear for people who are scared of heights, because it's got these 2,000-foot drop on either side. So, you know, if you see yourself, if you imagine like you're on top of this, you're about 8,000 feet, right? Yeah, that's what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
So you're at 8,000 feet, and all you can see is these big drops. And so I saw myself on top of this place being completely calm. And so April, 7 years before that, I'd gone up and I'd completely freaked out. I was, you know, I was sweating. I don't know if you've ever had any, I don't know if you've had any fear of heights or anything like that, or any type of vertigo, but the people who are listening who are scared of heights know what I'm talking about. And it's this paralyzing fear. You're just sweating. It's you know, and people around you don't really get it. And so I was with my kids and my wife at the time, and we had to turn around. And it was a charity fundraising event. There were people from my work there, so it was pretty embarrassing. So I went down. That was 7 years prior, and I'd lived with this fear of heights. I've lived with it for a long time. And anyway, I saw myself sitting on top of this mountain. Imagine the classic yoga pose, you know, sitting there being really calm. And it was just like this moment of just insight and bliss. It was, and the second thing after that was, I got to teach this. I just knew instantly. So what I started doing was going around Los Angeles and walking to the top of high buildings and doing the breathing, the Wim Hof style breathing, calming myself down. And then I would walk as far as I could before I started freaking out. And then I would slow down. You know, you can imagine this crazy person on top of the building, people wondering what's going on. I was that guy. So I do that every single day. And
way to face your fears.
yeah. So you know, what I've come to realize, April, is that the breath and the ice are really insight mechanisms. So what they do is that when you're fully aligned through the breath work, and we're going to dive into that a little bit later, and then you go into the ice, you get intuition, intention, insights, they all come up, you get clarity, right? And what I believe, that is the soul talking, your soul, you're connecting with your soul. So you're moving away from the real life problems you have, money, whatever, right? You know, the goal line personality stuff, you move away with that. And the ice bath and the breath is really powerful for that. So, so I'm going around Los Angeles doing all these crazy things and testing myself with the heights, and I'm starting to feel a little bit better. And then one of my clients who'd been coming for a number of months, he just turned around to me one day and said, "Simon, I'm going up Mount Baldy. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "You're kidding me. I've been waiting all my life for someone to come with me." Because I've been looking for a guide because I was too scared and thought it was dangerous to go on my own. And this gentleman's very special. He's a spiritual advisor to me. And we went we camped to 8,000 feet the night before. And I didn't sleep at all. He snored the whole night. And I'm just thinking about the devil's backbone. That's all I can think about. I'm just terrified. So, you know, but then I get to this point about 3 in the morning, I'm thinking, okay, whatever nature's going to give me, I'm going to accept it. I'm just going to accept it, and I'm just going to do it. Yeah, I'm just going to do it, surrendering, exactly. So then we get to the devil's backbone. We get up at about 6 a.m. We walk, it's about an hour up to the backbone, and we're there, and he stops me and says, "Take a video for your daughter." I'm getting emotional now, actually, because it's bringing me back there. So I start this video for my daughter. I'm like in tears, it was super emotional. And afterwards he goes, "You ready?" I said, "Yeah, ready." And I turned around and I walked, and it was like walking across the room to shake your hand. I had zero fear. I felt actually a sense of peace. And ever since then, I've had don't get any type of problems, issues with heights at all. After that, emotional release, and you know, and what I've subsequently come to sort of understand is that when you have a spiritual release, it affects you, and it also affects everyone around you. So, you know,
Yeah.
and that prayer for my daughter and her well-being in life shifted things in me as well, and
Oh.
brought forth a sort of a clarity that a lot of fears that we have in life are nothing to do with what we think they are. And a
Yeah.
fear of height, you know, I'd had years and years like doing self-development, going to therapy on this particular issue of, you know, and when you go to therapy, they'll do things like, yeah, they do the standard fear exposure, which I did a little bit of, but they do
Hmm.
other sort of mechanisms as well, different types of breathing. And I tell you, none of them worked.
Well, someone must have told you that when we are born, infants have two fears. And that's the fear of falling, which would give you that sense, the fear of heights because you fear falling, and the fear of loud noises. We actually just spoke with it with my guest yesterday. And,
Yeah,
so to me, there's, that's totally natural because every other fear is learned. And you're right. It's based on our perception of that fear and our experiences that built those beliefs and perceptions. So that is so cool. I love that your description of going into an ice bath and having this soul awakening vision experience is very profound. And doing the breath work, and the closest thing that I could relate to that is breath work during meditation, and
yeah,
how it does bring you, if done properly, to that space. It's like this, like you said, I think you're kind of visiting your soul you
yeah,
know
yeah. The power of the breath.
yeah. Well, because you went on this journey of the mountain experience, why don't we share with our viewers what that looks like? Are you ready for that?
Amazing.
All right, I'm going to share the screen and we'll jump right into this video.
Enjoy.
Spot where you can go during the winter for some powder or go hiking in the warmer season, but you have to time it right. Mount Baldy is just north of Upland and Rancho Cucamonga in the Angeles National Forest.
Get a lot of snow up here. You access Mount Baldy via Mount Baldy Road, just north of Claremont. One of the most beautiful points in Southern California, visible from all across the greater Los Angeles area.
You can see the beautiful snow-capped mountains. This is the part where we start to lose cell service and temperatures start to get close to freezing, and because of the high winds, the snow has turned to ice.
Okay, here we are at 6,000 feet. We're just about to start the hike up Mount Baldy, and we'll take you all with me. Let's go. We're up at 7,000 foot, and we're as warm as toast. All it took was the training, the mindset. Anyone can do it.
We love you.
We
It's
love
safe. Everything is going really well. Okay, so here I am at the Mount Baldy waterfall. So the water's coming off the mountain. It's going to be freezing or below the water temperature. It's snow melt and it's frozen overnight. temperatures up the top of the mountain were around about 2 or 3 below overnight. So now after the hike, I'm going to have a refreshing little shower. So I just did the waterfall plunge, and it was incredible because there's so much water coming down. It was like beating against my back, but I felt supported at the same time. And just allowed me to, I don't know, be in nature and sit with it. Incredible. I turned around and faced out, and I wasn't cold at all. So we're up by the ski hut, 8,000, how many feet? 8,300 with friends and feeling good. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
We did it. We got to the hut. The hut is right over there. And this is the famous, infamous Baldy Bowl right up there.
Right there.
With the wind. And so now what you do is some snow angels, right? We're gonna make snow angels for you guys, keeping you warm in our hearts. and believe it or not, I personally, I'm warm. Like my body's completely warm. Yeah,
Warm like toast.
wow. We love you. Woo-hoo. There's Simon. There it is. How you feeling? Wow. There it is. The Baldy Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. There's the hut. There's Simon.
Tell you, you can do anything your spirit calls to you.
So that is incredible. And I'd have to say, Simon, so years ago, I purchased, oh, here we go. The Way of the Iceman. This is Wim Hof's book. And now I can, I would have to say is you too are Iceman. And
Thank
you've even
you.
got the hair to go with it. And what an incredible testimony. How exciting. I would love to know what that felt like, if you could describe that. And I'm curious, was that part of becoming Wim Hof certified?
Well, I want to first of all just send my love out to my partner, Dr. Sadeghi Habib, who came up the mountain with me, and it wouldn't have happened without him. And so I knew the first day I got in the ice bath, I wanted to be certified as an instructor, and I was so inspired by what Wim has done. And the bit that most intrigued me was the mountain expedition, because he takes people up the mountain in Poland. And so I knew I was going out to do this certification. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to start training. And I wanted to do it before I got there.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be that guy who couldn't make it up the mountain. It's just my DNA is like that. So I just decided to go and do it. And I wanted to see if I could, because I was doing the ice bath every day. I was doing the Wim Hof breathing, my fear training with the heights, and so going up there, I think it was so special for me because it was the culmination of 5 months of daily training. It was that spiritual journey for me as well, to release a lot of fear and to gain a lot of insight. And it was quite remarkable because, we're in below freezing temperatures, and I was completely warm. And before you go up and do something like this, you don't really know if it's going to work or not.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was I was fairly confident as far as in my training, but I'd never been up in those type of temperatures. And also, April, bear in mind that very weekend 2 people died on the mountain, and the actor Julian Sands went missing. So in the build up, the 10 days prior, everybody been messaging me, sending me articles about people dying on the mountain. And my wife was not particularly keen on me going either. As you can imagine, right? And all my friends were, why don't you delay it? But Habib and I had set this deep intention of going. And so I kind of knew I was going to be okay, but at the same time, it was some of the worst conditions they've experienced on the mountain in a long time. And we were fortunate the day we went and the sun came out. But as I said, people had passed away on that mountain, the same route we were going up. So that was a little bit in the back of my mind as well. So maybe some of the release was just relief, but it was truly amazing how the body adapts. And through this process, I literally, I didn't sweat or shiver. It was, the body just seemed to work perfectly. And I think sometimes we get encumbered by all these clothes that we wear, because we were meeting all these people going up the mountain who were in full mountain gear. Sort of, I guess, dressed, let's call it appropriately, right? And so to go up there and everyone was sort of like looking at us like we were completely insane, but to go up there and just to feel so incredibly warm. And then I think that just sort of you probably got that from the video, that excitement, that energy, that spirit that was there, and that was there with Habib and I, was just truly wonderful. So it was a day in a time I will never forget.
Yeah, I mean, how could you? I mean, and you guys, you're not only, facing extremes, but extremes, where this is a life or death situation, and there's proof of that around you. And then you have the worries of your family. And so, but yet I see that determination, where you have this agreement with yourself and you're like, I'm doing this. And I have the tools to be able to do this. I feel that this is possible, and you guys came through. So we're so blessed to have you here with us today, based on that. I'm going to bring in one of our comments, and Manly says, can you explain the Wim Hof breathing a bit? How and why? How to and why?
Absolutely. Well, that's a great question. And, I think the easiest way is to have a little go. Would you be up for that, April?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
So
wait a minute. I'm doing this. I got to prepare
the audience
myself.
can do it too, right? So if you put one hand on your belly and then the other hand on your chest, right? And so we're going to keep a hand there comfortably. And we're going to do everything through the nose, in and out through the nose. Okay. So this is a nice, gentle way to start Wim Hof breathing. So what you do is you take a deep breath into the belly, We're going into the belly and then up into the chest and then let go. So it's belly, chest, letting go. Deeply in, let it go. Keep on going. Go on, we're gonna do 5 more breaths just to get an idea. In. Don't worry, there's any tingling in the hands or feet. Feel lightheaded, that's all perfectly normal. That's it. Go on deeply in. 2 more. In. Let it go. Now on the final breath, breathe in. Let the breath go. Stop after exhalation. Just stop, and we're going to stay here for about 30 seconds. And during this time, we're breathing without air, and we're pausing without air in the lungs. Just let your body relax. Feel, notice your heartbeat. Just relax. So we'll do another 15 seconds. Doing amazing. And then when you're ready, just take a deep breath in. Now hold it, and then gently squeeze the blood to the belly, into the head. Feel it on the front of the forehead, and then let go. Let it go and relax. Okay, so that's one Wim Hof round. How do you feel?
Wonderful. I feel like lighter. I got a little lightheaded, but
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel energized.
Good, amazing. And so we just did 5 breaths, like 5 or 6 Wim Hof breaths. So in a normal round, you would do 30. So you would do 30 breaths deeply in for the nose or the mouth. The mouth makes it a little bit more intense. So people starting off, it's good to do the nose. And then when you feel good, it's letting go. 30 of those breaths, really charging up the body. And on the last one, you just let it go. Hold, and then what is it? I mean, what's truly incredible is that the listener asked how it works. So this is how it works. So what you're doing is when you're breathing in deeply, you're activating your sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so we're going to be influencing the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous systems, which comprise the autonomic nervous system. Now, up until 2016, when they did a science project on Wim Hof in Holland at Radboud University, injected him with endotoxin, and through his method, he was able to suppress the immune function. So influencing.
Could you explain what that is to the audience? Because I don't think everybody is going to know what that is. Could you give a little further explanation of what he was injected with?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I also want to make sure I answer the question in full, as well as far as explaining the full mechanism and the cycle of the breathing and what happens in the body. But the Radboud study, they basically, endotoxin is like E. coli, and so so they had people who didn't use his method. It was only him to start with in the first test, and so the typical reactions would be fever, sweating, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, right, would be typical from being injected with E. coli.
It's not a small thing to be injected with.
No.
By any means.
Yeah, absolutely. And people get very sick with this. And it's not something to be played around with. And so, but Wim, using his method, was able to suppress that inflammation response, releasing more adrenaline into the body, and therefore he didn't get sick.
Yeah.
Felt fine. And so that showed the scientists that he was able to influence the autonomic system.
Incredible.
Yeah. And so the power of this for the audience to understand, and we can explain it through, I guess, the explanation of what happens in the body. So when we're breathing in deeply, we're deliberately activating the sympathetic nervous system. And that's your flight, fight, freeze response. Yeah. So we activate that, but we do it in a controlled setting. So you're activating that, you're producing adrenaline, getting the body fired up. And then you also flooding the cells with oxygen. So CO2 levels, right, are going to start to go down. Oxygen is going to start to go up in the cells. So your cells are flooded. And the tingling that you experience, that sort of lightheadedness, is because it's actually energy in the cell. You're producing energy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you're alive, right? And so
Yeah.
that feeling of aliveness, the tingling, is all about because the oxygen saturation is going up.
You could
Your
describe
body,
it as electric.
exactly. Yeah, that's energy, right? And so during that phase, the body, the blood becomes more alkaline, which is why the inflammation comes down, because the body becomes more alkaline, right? So it has that. So then what happens is that you then, after the breath, you breathe out. So you're breathing out the CO2. And so you're full of oxygen. So there's no need for breathing, which is amazing. And you sit and monitoring the body. And slowly, obviously, CO2 levels are going to start to go up, right? And that's ultimately going to lead to that trigger for you to breathe. But what's cool is you go through the rounds and start getting in practice and learn how to relax. You can go 2, 3, 4 minutes without breathing after exhalation. So during this time, we're going into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your sleep calm state. Yeah. And so that's when the body goes into deep calm and starts to regulate itself. And after about 2 to 2.5 minutes, when the CO2 levels start to go up, the reptilian brain in the back here and the pineal gland activates through the vagus nerve into the pineal gland. It starts releasing adrenaline.
Yes.
And right, dopamine and serotonin consciously. You're doing it consciously because you're the alchemist here, right? You're not getting chased by a cheetah or a lion. You're doing it in a safe environment in your home, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully lying down. Don't do it in a car or in a swimming pool. But lying down, and so under those conditions, you release these amazing chemicals that produce healing in the body, clarity, focus. So it's wonderful for that release of stress, healing in the body, and also for performance too, right? So you're in that optimal state where the body becomes aligned.
Yeah.
So that's how it works on a scientific level, doing the breathing, and the studies show that you get, you can go as deep as someone who's practiced meditation for years.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah. That's what's incredible. You can train yourself to go, to that level right then. And, the first time that I came into learning about breath work was actually when I was in law enforcement, because when we were put into these high stress life or death situations, we had to act on, you what do they say? It's you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. And so, that's why you're put into repetitive training over and over, so you can actually perform and use your firearm when you have to. And also, needing to know those techniques, like calming yourself down, and so you're able to perform. And breathing techniques are 100% a part of that. And that's a life and death situation, but this is also available to everybody because we're living in such a high stress world. It is like constant stress around us with, our jobs, our finances, traffic, our boss, so, having this available to us and having the awareness of, the simple, it's free. You don't have to buy anything. It's not like this amazing thousands of dollars device. Is within us. And it's so simple. And I love that you, Simon, are here to be able to coach and teach people. And so we're going to move into our first into a commercial. And when we get back, let's talk a little bit about the trainings that you offer. Stay tuned.
Great.
Hello, everyone. I am Kim Jacobs, the host of The Kim Jacobs Show. And you all know who's right here with me, Dr. Les Brown. How are you, Dr. Brown?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time you want to give yourself a competitive edge. If you got a message, you have some knowledge or experience, a story, or If you want to do something adventurous and exciting with your life that can increase your credibility, expose you to millions of people, I'm encouraging you to have your own talk show. I used to have a talk show. That one talk show catapulted me to another level. Now there are more people watching the internet, as you are aware, than television.
Yes.
Come on, somebody.
That's right.
Dr. Kim Jacobs, she trained people on how to have their own talk show. She will train you how to do that. And now with me working, partnering with her, now you have the combination of an audience, expansive audience. We have over 4 million people in all of our platforms, and the coaching you need to grow your business, to grow your multi-level marketing organization, to draw more attention to yourself in this noisy economy. Go ahead, Kim.
So in the training that I do, Les, I actually do a 6-week training. It's 1 hour per week. And each week I meet with the individuals one-on-one. We go through and we talk about all of the things that's necessary for a show to become a reality. We go from how to actually identify your focus area, what's going to be your ideal customer that's going to be tuning in. We'll talk about how to get guests, how to get sponsorship, how to go about getting your lighting, your branding, and your banners, and everything that you need to know. And guess what, Les? They own their own content at the end of the day.
And that's exciting. Now, if you're ready to create a shift in your business and in your life and increase your cash flow, I want you to go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. It's right there on the screen, KimJacobsConsulting.com. You know, people say opportunity knocks on every door. Right. No, opportunity stands by silently waiting for you to recognize it. So I want you to recognize that this is a time for you. This is an incredible time to have your own talk show. It establishes a level of credibility.
Yes.
And by being exposed to people on a regular basis, it allows you to strategically begin to impact and attract your audience. She can take you in a place in yourself that you can't go by yourself. So go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. That's KimJacobsConsulting.com. Did I say KimJacobsConsulting.com? Yes, you did. Very good. Make sure you go there and sign up for the coaching, and we're looking forward to working with you. You have something special. You have greatness within you. That's my story, and that's Kim's story, and we're sticking to it. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
So welcome back. Okay,
Thank
Simon. So let's talk a little bit about what you're doing now. I'm going to put on the screen your website so people have access to that. Yeah, and let's go from there. What's been your experience thus far?
Well, firstly, I'm super excited about what you said before the break. And I think it's really relevant to the work that I'm doing. You know, you mentioned that you're in law enforcement, and
I was previously, yes.
Yeah, well, amazing. And so, you know, I have a couple of British commandos that I work with, and you know, they're in the area of helping people who have been in stressful situations, combat areas, tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, and being out on the streets of, you know, in law enforcement is stressful as well.
Yeah.
And so they're helping people in these units come back and deal with, you know, what's happened, the trauma that's happened with them, and also dealing with life, because, you know, sometimes just coming home is actually just as stressful. And I think, you know, if we sort of extrapolate it out, and you said very eloquently that people are living these high stress lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so the stress that they're experiencing it's a chronic stress. It's going on all the time. So, you know, in the Wim Hof breathing, for example, that yes, there's periods of stress, but it's under control, and that's how the body grows. That's how you grow as a person with tiny bits of environmental stress, hormetic stress that used to be around back in the day when we were having to hunt for our prey. And now all that is gone. Everything's kind of on a plate for you. And yet, and so people have, I think, in many ways, forgotten or unlearned how to deal with stress. And so it kind of creeps up. So most of the people that are coming, a lot of people are coming to me are people who live in this state. And for, one of the easiest ways to sort of diagnose that for people listening is to stop for a moment and count how many times in a minute you breathe. And so my experience of people when they first come to me, the range is between 12 and 22. With the typical being around about 17. Now,
okay, now we all have homework to do.
Yeah, right. I'm giving you some homework. Do you know what the optimal breathing rate is? 5.5 breaths per minute.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. We are all breathing way too much.
Way too much, and through the mouth mainly. And so we have this, so you're, in a way, people are constantly in this sympathetic nervous system state. Now, one of the analogies I actually give in my training is, imagine someone puts a gun to you. What are you going to do? Now, you train for that, right? And so how are you going to respond? And so the equivalent of the gun to the head in Los Angeles is going on the 405 freeway. So it's like,
no kidding.
People. Yeah, 7 lanes of madness. People trying to cut you off.
It's actually the most dangerous thing we do every single day is get into a vehicle.
Absolutely. And so a lot of my work is about, well, first of all, become aware that what's going on, but then really looking at regulating that nervous system. And the way to do that is through the breath, slowing down. So a very simple exercise to slow that down would be to do this. You breathe in, breathe in again. Okay, so we just did 2 breaths, took about 20 seconds.
Yeah. Maybe
22 seconds, ideally. And then you're instantly down into a calm state, heart rate drops, nervous system becomes activated. It's really, really simple. So with the breathing, it takes, around about 6 weeks of training. And so, we look at sort of how to, being successful. One pillar is going to be the breathing. Another pillar is going to be your cold exposure training. The third pillar is going to be commitment. And commitment.
Well, you got to be committed to it, right?
Right. It's kind of like if you want to work out and you want to, influence your body, if that's what you choose to do, then you work out most days, right? If you just do it once and go, I smashed it, then you're gonna feel good for a couple of days and then you're back where you were. So it's the same thing with the breathing. And so you do it every day. And after about 6 weeks, and my experience certainly was that I noticed a profound change in my nervous system. I started responding to things differently, such as traffic, such as the metaphorical gun to my head, right? And the studies support that as well, because when you get aligned, your autonomic system functions properly. That's the gateway then to you performing optimally, right? Because when you're in the state of blah, 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 this, you don't function optimally, you just react, right? And so the first step is really getting that calmness around you so the body works. And then as I would, what I believe is that when you're in that state, you are love, your purity, your compassion, right?
Yeah.
Everything, like, look at the sign above, right? So behind me, right? So you are that, and then you make all the right decisions for you. There's no noise going on. There's no I should do this. I need to be more pretty. I need to be slimmer. I need to be this.
Well, it's not you care less, if at all, about those trivial things.
Yeah. So my goal is to build community, is to is for people to come together to experience love, to compassion, and and find themselves in the breath, so they can be more of themselves and live that more of a soul-based life. But because most of the time we're individuals who are operating in the sort of the goal world, the personality world, with a little bit of spiritual awakening,
Right.
the odd insight here and there. That's certainly where I was at. And so my goal becomes, as a leader in this, is to create an environment for people to go more into the soul's journey, so they can be a spiritual being having a human existence rather than the other way around.
Yeah,
Right.
that's incredible.
And and so that, I believe, is the journey. So people come to the ice bath with me and the breathing, and so we take them. I do individuals, or they come as a group, or I go do virtual sessions for companies around the country, or come to a retreat and we can go up a mountain or whatever it might be. So again, for me, it's all about community and bringing people. I don't really do any marketing or anything like that. I decided very consciously just to provide this in space. I built a lovely space at the house, with help and collaboration from family and from a wonderful builder and contractor. And so I just invited people to come, and whenever I meet somebody such as yourself, I say yes. And so that's led me to collaborate with other people in this space. I'm leading retreats in England with a vegan chef, and collaborating with a gentleman to run a retreat in Greenland, where you can have a polar bear outside of your house. I can't wait to do that. Can you imagine? So it's a special place you can only get to like sort of once a year for a couple of months. And so, we have this lovely community now in Los Angeles and around the world of people that are just about accepting, about compassion, about love, and exploring themselves. And what's really cool, lastly, is that I don't have to be the expert. I'm not the therapist. I'm not this. And really, the breath, people find themselves and know and work out what to do and get answers in the ice, so that they can be the alchemist and in charge of their own life.
Exactly. I love that. I'm going to say it again, so that you can be the alchemist in charge of your own life. Beautifully said. And that's exactly what it is. It's really learning how to control yourself and giving yourself that access to something that's deeper within us all. So let's go into this photo album. I'm excited to share it, because when we talk about community and what you're doing, let's jump into this. Tell me what this photograph is.
So this is Andy and Tom from my lads group, who come every Sunday, and these guys have been training for about 10 months. Every Sunday coming to the ice bath. Incredible guys, for this journey up Baldy, and I took them up last month. And the week before, literally the week before they went up, 7 foot of new snow got put down on the mountain. And it was I think in the first video, Habib and I were walking up, there's no snow on the lower slopes. This time there was 7 foot at 6,000 feet. So you'd basically take 1 foot and disappear up to your waist. But you
got to go a little slower too, trying to make your way through that.
Yeah. So this was the culmination of their training. I'm super proud of them. They did amazing. Got up there, as you can see, they're just 2 guys full of life.
Yeah. You all look so happy.
Yeah.
And here's one batch of community right here.
Absolutely. So this is the executive and leadership team from Michael Page in California. And they came to do a series of training with me. And Michael Page is a recruitment company worldwide. And these guys were just incredible. Yeah,
Wow.
really did amazing.
And this is your property in Los Angeles, correct?
Yeah, so you can see the ice bath.
Mhm.
If you look just behind on behind Kate there on the right hand side of the screen, you can see some banana trees. That's where the outside shower is, and then we got the sauna behind that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if that was a sauna.
There's Erin enjoying the ice. So it'd be 32 degrees, that the water there.
Wow. Well, I mean, she doesn't look terrified or like she's dying. She actually has this massive grin on her face. You know, I haven't myself immersed myself in ice. I have definitely done the cold showers, you know, for a lengthy period of time when I first became involved with the Wim Hof method. However, what I can say about the cold and growing up in the mountains of Colorado, you know, and in that 7-foot snow, right? There's something to be said about the cold. And it just makes you feel, for a better lack of what to say, alive. It makes you feel more alive.
Yeah, I think that's very eloquently put. So the cold is, I mean, for me, it's a teacher and it's a powerful activator. So when you first go in, the extremities, there's vasoconstriction, a constriction of the blood vessels. So because your body thinks it's under attack, so all of
Mhm.
the blood goes to your heart and essential organs and away from the extremities. So you get that shock, but also you get that pain often in the hands and the feet, which makes it really hard. And so this is where, when you're going to the cold, the breath work becomes very important, because it
Mm.
preps you for the cold, but then when you're in, breathing slowly. Takes about 45 seconds for, if you're calm, for the body and more the mind to realize, hey, actually, April, you're okay. And in
Yeah.
this case,
Yeah.
Erin, she's okay. Once it realizes that, it then puts the blood back into the hands and extremities. So that's when you then get calm and warm again, and you're okay.
Right.
So if you don't do that and you stay in this activated state, sympathetic nervous system state, you'll jump out. You won't last 45 seconds.
Right.
And that happens for a lot of people when they first come in. And so a lot of the training with the cold is learning just to be calm and to do the breath. And actually, it's funny because this picture here of Erin, before that, she'd absolutely freaked out. So we got her at a good moment. We're able to calm her down, and she's able to, able to actually sit in there. And then also what happens, April, is you release about 500% more adrenaline into your body. You release 250% more dopamine. So that is like a
Right.
cocktail of awesome drugs,
Yeah.
more than you would on a roller coaster. Think about the implications for people on antidepressants or, any
Yep.
type of anxiety medication, right? Much more powerful than that, but you're doing it naturally in the
Right.
system, and also for healing as well.
Oh.
So I'm reminded, actually, there was a lady who came to me who had when she was 14, she was on a hiking trip and hurt her ankle on the first day, and she was forced by the people leading the walk to walk for a further 13 days on what turned out to be a broken ankle. Major damage, nerve damage. And so she
Well,
came.
she didn't feel
and
it, it was fine.
What's that? Yeah, right.
Nerve
It's that
damage, it's
culture, isn't
good.
it? Right. Yeah. And she was told, that you're one of these people just playing up, not really making it up, right? So she had these two traumas, one from the abuse and one from the actual injury. And so
Mhm.
she started coming, and what we worked on is sitting in the ice for the reducing inflammation, but also consciously, through visualization and intention, activating the nerves,
So
bringing that blood flow back and forwards and activating the nerves. And she's going to be coming up the mountain with me. So in May, so we're training for that, and she's getting function of the body and starting to work again. So, a real, for people who have any type of serious injuries or dealing with an issue, autoimmune functions, autoimmune disorders, things like that. The ice can be really incredibly powerful.
Yeah, well, that's initially what brought me into, learning about Wim Hof and picking up his book was because I have an autoimmune disease. I have systemic lupus. And so when I was going through one of my flare-ups, I was like, what can I do? This is why the show is here, is because
Yeah.
always throughout my life learning for other ways to heal ourselves outside of modern medicine. What can we do to take back the power of, and that control of, managing our bodies and our systems. And I really want to paint a picture. And this again has come to me in a couple of different ways throughout life. The breathing techniques, with law enforcement, and then the healing of the cold, and also with the combination of them. I mean, how powerful this is, and painting a picture of that. If people in life and death, there is a gun to your head, can manage that and be able to function properly, and people who are getting into an ice bath and scaling a mountain like you did, this is absolutely possible. Wim Hof himself, being injected with this horrific disease. And also when we start going back into mental health, Wim Hof really became involved in this and excited about this. I shouldn't say excited, but determined to explore further, was based on his wife's suicide. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So mental health was huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think now we're in this time when so many, particularly kids, are really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
With anxiety, depression, and so it's a wonderful mechanism just through the breath. Whether it's Wim Hof or any other style of breathing.
Yeah.
Right?
Meditation. I mean, you can do it during that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I practice many different types of breath work. For example, you wouldn't want to necessarily do Wim Hof just before bed because you might not sleep. So at night,
because you're amping up. It's that electric feeling, So I agree with you.
Exactly. So I do more gentle breathing, and it's wonderful for that mental focus and clarity. I see you're bringing up the ladies group.
Yes. Here's more community. Tell me about this ladies group. They look so empowered.
Yeah, an amazing group here in Los Angeles. Mums, they share their children go to a school here, and they've all bounded together and came to the bath. And it was a very, very powerful experience. When you breathe as a community together, it's so powerful because you're breathing for you, but you're also breathing for your community. You're breathing for the people that you love. You care about, your children, people who are here, people who aren't here anymore. And so the energy was unbelievable.
Do you guys set, I'm just curious, do you set intentions together as a group? Because I do know how powerful. It's just like the power of prayer and why miracles happen. Well, it's because when I don't know if it's 2 or more, 3 or more, when we get together as a community and we set an intention of, then miraculous things happen. So tell me about that.
Well, you're very true. And so I have a process actually that I developed after breathing. I channel into authentic self. So I guide people through that. And in that moment, then set an intention. And that becomes a very powerful time. It's typically when people, because most people come, most people come to the ice bath because I want to do the ice bath, right?
Just to say they did it and they could. Yeah.
I smashed it, whatever, right? And so I'm like, okay, that's
very
fantastic.
Ego.
Yes, you can do that, but let's go a little deeper. And so I encourage people to go deeper, and I take them through a process to connect authentically with them. And that becomes a really powerful experience for people. Then when people tend to get very emotional, but also set that intention, because I think, you'll need that if you're going to go and do something very difficult, like get into 32-degree water, or go up a mountain in your shorts.
Yeah.
You need to have something more than, I just want to do this, because what will happen if you have that type of mindset, I just want to do it, you're going to crumble when it gets difficult. Yeah. And so the intention becomes very powerful. And as you said, the community then, building a community one, like for example, the behind me is the Community Love organization, which is about random acts of kindness in the community. So it's the sort of most well-known patron of the organization is Chris Martin from Coldplay. And when you go and see him in concert, you will see his love on his t-shirt. And he gave out 72,000 buttons at his concerts. And so that's all about that. It's all about uniting together for a common purpose to give more of yourself, give more love, more experience, more community together. Otherwise, really, what's the point, right?
Right. Well, I'm under the firm belief that you are helping change our world, evolve us, because when we start going into, learning how to control our stress, which we're, running through our bodies continuously day in and day out, when we manage that and we know how to do that, then like we said throughout this, is that it brings us back to not really caring about those mundane or those things that don't matter, but it opens ourselves up to be more heartfelt, to be more compassionate, and to love one another, and to bring those acts of kindness more often. And that's changing the world. When we start changing ourselves, it's a direct reflection and leading by example. So it's a beautiful thing. I want to bring one of our comments in. Manly said, agreed, to be able to control the everyday stress of life pays exponentially. And I was just talking about that. Thank you for sharing and focusing on community improvement. Beautiful.
Yeah, and I really want to, so in that space, and thank you for your comment. The principle is containment. So when there's a difficult, what we want to be able to develop this habit of containment. What it means is that when you're in a stressful situation, you are able to experience that pain, stress, whatever it is, sadness, anger, contain it, and then have it not bleed into the rest of your life. So where stress becomes a problem is when it bleeds into every area of your life, right? And so the breath work and the ice, it's about containment. So what we're doing is we're learning how to, because we all have stuff going on in life. I do. Right? And so we have stuff going on. So it's about being able to experience that deeply at the same time as being able to operate effectively in life. Because we can go on the soul's journey, but if you're on the soul's journey and you're constantly like, running, you can't stay focused, right? So
and it's not about being complacent either.
No, absolutely, because that's denial, right? So I believe you have to fully experience things, fully experience whatever that emotion is, and at the same time learn how to contain. And so it's a psychological principle. It was developed in the 50s by a British psychologist. I put it in a slightly different frame, and it's really about just learning how to experience something challenging. And it could be something like going in the ice bath because it's freezing. That's challenging, but how to experience that. But you're then able to live and respond. And so that's really, I think, a lot of the power, and that also leads to your point, to improve mental health,
Yeah,
right? Because
absolutely.
you can deal with stuff. We're not trying to force it down. We're not trying to deny. We're trying to say, okay, I'm experiencing this, and also I can still have joy. I can still have a good time. I can still embrace. I can still be compassionate,
Yeah,
right?
well, that's what living is for, right? Is to be
Yeah,
able to enjoy what we have here and what we're creating. So,
yeah.
Simon, is such a pleasure having you on the Wellness Driven Life show, and I want to give you an opportunity to, say anything else that you think the audience should know today, and I want to make sure they know how to access you. His website is www.thesgway.net. Simon, I'm going to have to ask you to come back on the show in a few months because
Oh, amazing! Thank you.
there's so much more. There truly is so much more that we could dive into, and there's a few more things that you have created and that you continue to create. So there will always be more. But his website is www.thesgway.net. Visit him there. You also have an Instagram if you want to, mention what your Instagram is, and a YouTube channel. And tell us anything else that you would love to share today with us.
Well, the first thing is you do the breathing and get in the ice. That's just do it.
Just do
Because you know
it.
what it is. I recently, April, I did a mud run at the weekend, a tough mudder
Oh,
thing. I don't know
yeah,
if you've heard of
fun.
it. I'd never done one before,
No,
right?
I want to do
And
one. I love them.
it's great. You get electrocuted. You got these high buildings, but you build together. And the guy at the start said, "Do something new every day," and I just love that. And so, if you haven't done it, go and do an ice bath. That would be my recommendation for the day. And then I'd also, just as a bit of insight, and then I'm going to give an invitation to everybody here. But from insight is that fitness is great and working out is great, but if you neglect your well-being, it could be your biggest mistake. There's so many people out there trying to, do all this training and HIIT training and oatmeal lattes and all that, which is, it's good to eat healthy and it's good to exercise. But if you neglect your community, the love, the well-being of your, your inner well-being and the well-being of those around you, then ultimately it's gonna suffer, right? And so just simply do some breathing, get in a nice bath, and then you're going to be the leader. And so by you taking a step, then other people around you will take a step. That's how it works, right? In the soul's journey, once you make a transition, you have thousands of angels coming alongside you. So you can be the angel by getting in an ice bath. And if you're in Los Angeles, where I'm from, then come and you can jump in my ice bath. Be more than happy to. April, you're always welcome, of course.
Oh, yes.
So anyone's welcome to check in with me. I love it when people reach out, and I
Our
always,
son, Riker Chavez, is near you, so we'll have to have him come check you out and investigate you. And when we come to visit him, guess whose door we're going to be knocking on, Simon?
Amazing. We'll do it live in the ice bath, which I think could be very exciting for you and the listeners.
I'm shivering just thinking about it.
She's like, "Oh, I'm not doing that one. Scrap it." Yeah.
No, I love it. I think it's exhilarating. And again, like I said, there's something about it that makes you feel more alive. So if you just want to feel more alive than you ever have, get in the ice bath because it'll do the trick, man.
Yeah, and
It'll do
and
it.
if you're on the East Coast, you just get in the river or the
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
It's pretty simple, and I'm so grateful to you, and so impressed with your work and what you're doing. It's a wonderful show, and all the knowledge you're giving out to people. It's amazing. So I feel truly blessed to have met you. I love you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. The love is with you as well. Love you too, Simon. Thank you. This has been a very enjoyable experience for me. I obviously I get excited about it just like you do. And yeah, so thank you so much for it. It again has been an honor to have you on our platform. And want to notify the guests again, you know where to find Simon, and his information will also be in the description below. And this show wouldn't be possible without your generous contributions. Thank you so much for contributing to the show, where we can offer you these incredible stories and these incredible guests and all of these innovative things that are coming to you for your wellness-driven life. You can go on our website at www.thewellnessdrivenlifeshow.com. And when you donate there, you'll be gifted with a beautiful follow-up email for your records. So
it's a must.
it's a must. So again, thank you so much. I want to mention that one of our sponsors today is Kangen Water. Not all water is created equal, and people everywhere are discovering the life-changing power of Kangen Water. Find out more at www.kangenval.com. That's www.kangen, V as in Victor, al.com. That also will be in the description below. So thank you again, Simon. And, want to thank our guests for being here. When you happen to be watching the replay, you can still leave your comments in the comments section below, and we will respond to you in the future. And I want to say goodbye for now, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Thanks, April. Bye.